Coming up on this episode of The Sword, we get to learn about our new principal, Miss Adamson. We explore the different programs in our brand new wellness center, and we get a first-hand look on the lives of senior animals. We'll have all these stories on this episode of The Sword. Welcome to The Sword, Kennedy High School's news magazine show. I'm your host, Esther Janeja. We are now on Volume 4 of The Sword. So exciting. The Sword is where we share our more reporter-based stories with you all. So far, it feels as though this new school year has brought so many changes, one significant one being our new principal, Miss Adamson. Miss Adamson joined the Kennedy staff this past summer. We talked to her to get to know a little bit more about herself and her goals surrounding this school year.
Hello, I'm Vicky Adamson, principal of John F. Kennedy High School. So before I came here to Kennedy, I was a longtime English teacher. I taught for 25 years at Montgomery Blair High School. I loved it. I was also the department chair. I was an English resource teacher. Before Blair and before Montgomery County, I am originally from Los Angeles. I graduated from UCLA. So one of the things that I see here at Kennedy that I feel could use some bolstering, we have some very academically oriented students who are really serious about school, and I want all students to be more serious about school. One of the things that I see as a big challenge is I see students liking to socialize like most teenagers and spend time in the hall walking with friends. But when it comes down to business, I want to make sure that students know to get into class where learning is taking place. You know, when I grew up, my family was poor, and what made a big difference for me was school. This is where I found a lot of opportunity and advantage. And I would like all of our students here to understand that school is a pathway to success. And I think now it's sometimes hard for young people to see that and to look to the future. I want every student in this school to have options. So I would say Kennedy is more like Blair than it is like BCC. But again, Kennedy for me is post-COVID, and the pre-COVID world was very different. Phones have gotten a little more insidious in terms of the addictive qualities that they are designed to draw you in, and students are almost attached to that phone. And so that's a big change that I've seen since I first became an educator. And so we have to do more so that phones are not so intrusive. So the biggest challenge, I think, is trying to find that balance. I would like to see more support of our academic programs. Sometimes I hear students say things like, my class is boring, I don't want to go. I want to be able to delve into that and find out, is there something I can do to support instruction so that students are invested and they don't feel bored? And, you know, whether or not that's working with a particular teacher or just general how we approach educating all students in all classes. But I also find that we have a lot of disciplinary issues. And if we can get over some of that so that we can focus on what's really going to help our students grow and thrive and prosper in the future, that is what I would like to do. So I am in a lot of meetings, and these are what we would call standing meetings. And as a new principal, I also have to go to new principal meetings. Yesterday was Wednesday, and I was at an anti-racist leadership meeting because we also recognize that racism is still prevalent in our schools, and we want to remove it, and we want to be intentional. So by the end of this year, I really want to make sure that our attendance rate is better, that we don't have the lowest attendance rate in all of Montgomery County. I want to make sure that our dropout rate is non-existent. I want to make sure that we are delivering in academic programs, and I want to be able to shake every senior's hand at graduation proudly. So I want our graduation rate to be up. I'm just excited to be here. You know, I never in my career, I didn't think that I was going to become an administrator. These are some of the best years of your life, but they don't last for long. Okay. All right, this is actually PT 109. I know that it was funny because I brought it during pre-service to talk to the teachers about. During World War II, this was John F. Kennedy's boat. In 1943, he was on this boat when it was sliced in half. He was responsible for rescuing his crew. That is really what kind of catapulted him to fame. I have since come to really appreciate the fact that my husband was able to find this gift to give me as I was entering my first year as principal at JFK. And so now I have PT 109 to go with my collection.
In Silver Spring, I'm Sage Martinez for KCTV.
The Wellness Center opened at the end of last school year and has been an amazing addition to our school ever since. Natalie Navarrete dives into all the things the center has to offer.
At Kennedy, we not only care about your education, we also care about your wellness. With the new year coming, we know how stressful things can get. We introduce you to the new Wellness Center here at Kennedy and tell you exactly what it is.
So wellness centers are basically, they become part of the school community based on what the community says they need. So if the community has basically said that we need certain things that we're not seeing are available, or we need programs, services, resources that we don't know where to get, then a community assessment is done and a wellness center is born. That's basically in a nutshell. So the Wellness Center offers a little bit of everything. So we offer programs, so after school and lunchtime programs, and part of the programs is field trips. So we do a lot of fun field trips. We go to, so some places we've been to are main event, NBA games, NFL games, just different really fun things to have a fun component to our programs. But the programs themselves are really fun too. And it's a place where you can meet your peers and get to know them in a more fun and intimate way. And we also offer resources. So we have a case manager and parent outreach workers that work with families to make sure basic needs are being met. And then there's the clinic side. So the clinic side offers what you would think a clinic would offer: vision, hearing screenings, primary care, sports physicals, and more. All right, so we are in 1128, room 1128S, and we are next to the Commons, and it's a whole new section of the building. So it's basically going down that really long hallway where ROTC is, and literally going all the way down, and we're that door. And anyone is welcome to come in and meet us, hang out, and see what we're about.
Don't forget to visit the Wellness Center or scan the QR code on the screen if you have any questions. In Silver Spring, I'm Natalie Navarrete for KCTV.
And finally, a senior pet home that houses senior pets and gives them the homes that they need. Sori Alicea takes us to House for the Heart in Gaithersburg.
House for the Heart is a senior pet sanctuary that houses both dogs and cats alike, whether it's for the rest of their lives or only for a short period of time.
I did dog and cat rescue for all my life, maybe 30, 40 years. In about 2005, 2006, I was getting frustrated because I was getting phone calls all the time from people saying they needed to give up their senior pet. So I decided that I wanted to do a sanctuary where the senior dogs and cats would come and stay here, and I wouldn't have to find them a home and agonize if they were going to stay there for the rest of their lives, because they would stay here until they passed away. So we started that in 2006. We got our nonprofit status and started then. Well, when people call us, if they have to give up a pet, if we can't take the pet, then we have a safety net coordinator, and Lori jumps in on that one too as well. We try to help find resources so that they can place their pet. We provide pet food and supplies to senior citizens and people who are living in subsidized housing or don't have enough money to feed their pets. We started that during COVID, and we've continued it. In addition to that, we have a space here at the sanctuary where people drop off donations. Sadly, a lot of times it's when, I hope I don't cry, when people's pet when people's pet has passed away, a lot of times they'll bring us their medications and the food and supplies that they had. And instead of throwing that away in honor of their pet, we make sure that it goes to somebody else who needs it. So we have a volunteer who coordinates that. We have the Medical Miracles program, and people donate to that, and that bucket of money is used only to help other rescues who are partnering with us. And those rescues, if they need help when they pull a senior dog or cat from a shelter or an owner give up, we give them up to $1,000 grant to help pay for the vet bills so that they can get that pet ready for adoption. We're taking care of all the dogs and cats that live here, and they live here until they pass away. But we don't just want to stop here, and we can't keep taking them in because you can only have so many, or you can't take proper care of them. So we want to be able to do other things. So that's why we're always looking for some other way to help the community. This sounds horrible, but their body was going to be taken to be cremated, right? So they would put the pet in the bag, and we would make a sign with the pet's picture, and everybody would write something about it, and we would put that in there so that we knew that the last person to see them would know that they were loved. And we wanted to continue doing that, so we started the Stairway to Heaven and put their pictures up so we can honor everybody that's been here. We often, a lot of us will just look at the pictures and reminisce about that pet, how, the special things about them, so that they're kind of always in our hearts.
In Gaithersburg, I'm Soraya Disea for KCTV.
That does it for this episode of The Sword. You can socialize with us on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month with another edition of The Sword.
The Sword is a production of KCTV Broadcasting at John F. Kennedy High School in Silver Spring, Maryland.